We are going to discuss the next topic of this chapter, that is planning process. So planning is already, we know that planning is a process of deciding what to do and how to do. So here it requires some particular steps to follow. Let's try to understand one after one. The first one is setting objective. The first and foremost step of planning is setting objective, and this objective we are setting for the entire organization and even for the each and every department. And these objectives and goals are specified with what the organization wants to achieve. Here what organization wants to achieve is clear here. Like if we want to increase the sales by 20%, so like that way here we can, this is a objective for the entire organization, and how the all other department would contribute to this organizational goal is plan out, is drawn in the plan. All right, so like that way we can say that the all the departments and all the other units are given, we can give direction towards the goal of organization. Here by setting the objectives we can give them direction towards the organizational goal. All right, so this stage is a primary stage and it's very important. Next one is developing premises. So when we are talking about developing premises, that means what? Planning is based on some of the assumptions. Some assumptions are there, on the basis of what? On the basis of what we are doing the planning. And these assumptions are, some future events are there on the basis of which we are doing planning. All right, so for that person, whenever we are doing some forecasting, like we are talking about future demand or taste of consumer or competition in the market, and this kind of premises when we are making, at that time we must have to take care. And when we are talking about premises, it may be related with internal, it may be internal or it may be external. So when we are talking about internal premises, examples are there, like a sales forecast is there, or policy programs of organization, capital investment or policy or philosophy or management. These things are related with internal premises. And when we talk about external premises, when we talk about external premises, in this political factor, economical, social, technological, all these forces are also influencing the organization. So they are not in control of our organization, so that's why it is considered as a external premises. So we must have to take care while deciding the, while developing the premises, on the basis of what our planning is based. All right, next one is identifying alternative courses of action. So when we have set the objective, we have decided what we have to do, we have also made some assumption that these things are going to happen, and on the basis of that we are trying to find out the alternatives, that what kind of alternatives are available to fulfill our objective or to fulfill our goal. So for that purpose, what we have to do, we have to search alternatives. And this, when we are talking about search alternatives, at that time what happened, many persons have a limited mind or limited imaginations of, so for that's why what happened, we have to take the help of other managers or help of other persons to find out the various courses of action, because objectives are already planned. So to do that or to fulfill that objectives, what kind of actions we have available, and on the basis of that we are going to do the final selection. So when we are deciding that different kind of alternatives, as we know that to solve the any problem of organization or any problem of life, we have many alternatives. In the same way, in the case of business also, there are many alternatives are available, and from that alternatives we have to find out that by which way, which different alternatives are there to achieve our goal, this objective. And this will help How we can do this? This will help to do the analysis of different alternatives what we have developed. All right, so next one is evaluating alternatives. After we have the list of different alternatives, suppose 10 alternatives are there, 10 different ways are there by which we can fulfill our goal or we can achieve our goal. For out of 10, each and every alternatives will be evaluated in the light of like cost, in the light of capital requirement, in the light of material requirement, in the light of staff requirement, and we also check the positive and negative aspects of each and every alternative while each and every alternative, and like that way we will decide that the whatever which kind of alternative is feasible for us and what kind of consequences will be there, and like that way we will try to select we will try to evaluate each and everyone, and we can give them rank also, that first, second, third and fourth, like this. All right, so afterwards next is selecting an alternative. So when we are selecting an alternative, that means here we are taking decision. Here we are taking decision that how we are going to follow the planning, how we are going to do the work. So here it involves some quantitative analysis, some judgments are there, and it is based on experience of manager, and we must have to see whenever we are selecting the alternative, it should be most feasible, most profitable, and it should have a least negative consequences. And sometimes we can also follow the combination of two or more alternatives also. Next, after selecting an alternative, next step is implementing the plan. When we are talking implementing the plan, it means we are putting the action into necessary we are putting action by taking necessary steps. Now after deciding the alternative, we have to take some steps to implement that plan, and for that purpose whatever kind of steps are required, that we are deciding here. Like one example is there, like if company is deciding to produce a smartphones, at that time what happened, what kind of foreign technology we require, what kind of capital amount is required, what kind of import technology, what kind of staff we require, and what kind of distribution network is required. These things are there in the case of implementation of plan is there, and afterwards these steps are required in implementing. All right, so here we are deciding the steps to execute the plan. Next is follow up. Follow up is the last step of planning. After planning has been implemented, it is necessary to monitor on it. So here we are doing monitoring. Here steps are there. Here we are doing monitoring. Whatever implementation we have done, that we are monitoring, and we are ensuring that various activities must be performed as per the schedule and as per the plan, and it should be helpful for the achievement of the objectives. If you want to remember all these points in the one word, there is a SPICE. I know this word is very illogical, but it may be helpful to you to remember all this. The first step is setting objective, next is developing premises, next is identifying alternatives, course of action. E means evaluating alternative course of action. S means selecting an alternative. I means implementing the plan, and last one is follow up. Thank you, friends.